Lost one of the greats that Jimmy could speak to better than me. He's got a couple years on me, and that's Willie Mays passed away. How great was Willie Mays, Jimmy Hyams? And then we're going to discuss he had the over-the-shoulder incredible catch, some of the all-time great plays in Tennessee history. What was their say, hey, Willie Mays moment? But just how fantastic was Willie Mays, Jim?
He was, in my opinion, the greatest baseball player of my era of watching baseball. I started watching baseball in the early 1960s. I love Willie Mays. He was my favorite player. He could hit for average, hit for power, great defensive player, great arm. He also was a great base runner and base stealer. And the catch he made against Vic Wirtz is one of the greatest defensive plays ever, even though Mays at some point after his career said, hey, I made 10 catches better than that. But he was just a phenomenal player, had a lot of charisma about him. He was exciting to watch. And what I did not realize, and I should have, but I didn't realize, he missed about 266 games when he was called into service during the Korean War. And if he had not missed those games, I feel confident he would have passed Babe Ruth as the all-time home runs leader. He finished 54 home runs behind Babe Ruth. And if you give him 266 games, I'm convinced he would have surpassed him. So he was a fabulous player. And to me, the greatest I've seen. Hank Aaron, of course, is right there. But he was not as flamboyant as Willie Mays.
We certainly send our thoughts and prayers to the Mays family. Jimmy, as far as a Willie Mays play, that type of play, what stands out to you as far as a play that you've seen, that you've covered in Tennessee sports history, that you say to yourself, that was that type of incredibly athletic play at a clutch moment? Any that stand out to you?
Well, the Hunter Ensley's catch the other night when it looked to me like he left some eye black on that wall. I've heard others say it was part of the uniform, but I don't know if a uniform smears like that.
No,
that was a phenomenal catch, right? At a key moment that Tennessee needed. And he talked about how Drew Beam was pitching such a good game. He said, I was not going to allow that hit to occur because I wanted to help Drew Beam out. But I thought that's one of the better defensive plays I've seen in a clutch moment for Tennessee. The stage for college baseball doesn't get any bigger than Omaha. And to make that play in that situation would rank among the best defensive plays I've seen at Tennessee.
Pretty good one, Caleb.
That's hot.
What do you got? Greatest Tennessee play that you recall?
Well, I want to go back to Jimmy first because, Jimmy, the way I wanted to structure this topic was what is the Willie Mays catch moment for Tennessee football history? Of something you covered. What is the Willie Mays catch moment for Tennessee football history in your mind?
And Juwan Jennings against Georgia, Hail Mary.
Juwan Jennings?
Against Georgia, the Hail Mary catch to win the game against Georgia in what, 2016?
The high moment of Butch Jones's career right there.
Yeah, and it went downhill after that, didn't it?
Like really fast. I mean, like literally really fast. It completely went downhill.
Like somebody jumping off a 10-meter platform dive.
Triple Lindy from old school with Rodney Dangerfield is about what it was. Jimmy, I'm going to go with Deion Grant's one-handed interception against Florida in 1998 because it ended up in a championship.
Yeah,
and it was a catch as well.
It was. I had the privilege several weeks ago of playing in Philip Fulmer's tournament, and I was paired with Fred White, Jamal Lewis, and Deion Grant. Now, what's wrong with that picture? Okay, who's the outlier? Which of those four probably is the weakest? You get two guesses.
I don't know. I've seen you hit the ball pretty good.
I talked to Deion Grant about that catch, and he got beat on the play, and he had to retrieve and go back and make that leaping one-handed catch. It was a brilliant play on his part, and I would put that up there because if he doesn't make that play, Florida's going to probably win that game, right?
Oh, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, and then your 98 season looks a lot different, doesn't it?
I mean, it was literally one of those plays, guys. Why it stands out to me is that it stood out to me because it was almost in slow motion. And you thought to yourself, Jimmy, he has absolutely gotten beat. This is a touchdown for Florida. Then in the course of the ball traveling through the air, I'm thinking he might get there. No, he's not going to get there. He might get there. And then he got there. It was almost like slow motion. And that's how the Willie Mays catch was. They just reminiscent to me.
Yeah, and it's an iconic play for Tennessee. And Grant was such a great athlete. Tennessee, in the years I've covered them, they have not had many defensive backs as good as Deion Grant. He and Eric Berry and Dale Carter kind of stand out to me as among the all-time great defensive backs Tennessee's had in the last 40 years. But that particular play that Grant made, people talk more about Billy Ratliff in Arkansas and Clint Sterner, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you take out that Grant play against Florida, again, the whole 98 season and national championship season probably doesn't happen.
Very true. Caleb, let me go to you. And I'm going to do it in my Deion Grant fashion. I mean this with respect because I love Deion. Almost definitely and whatnot. Who do you think will be? What is your play? What stands out the most? Because I know Deion likes to start his sentences and end his sentences with almost definitely and whatnot.
Well, as an aside, Deion Grant almost would have outdone himself because he came away with an interception in 99 that should have set up a game-winning drive for Tennessee at Florida, but the offense was complete, two toss plays to Jamal Lewis on 3rd and 3 and 4th and 3, and some of the most questionable play calling cost Tennessee in that. But mine is actually going to be the one that I think is just it's a famous picture all over Knoxville. It's the T. Martin 79-yard touchdown pass to Peerless Price to me. I know it's not like an amazing, like, oh my God, this play, if it doesn't happen, Tennessee doesn't win the national title. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's possible, but I just think that's kind of the watershed moment of the game. And I know it was a standard play, but you guys probably were there and remember. How much did we hear about Florida State's speed on the outside and how they were just unbeatable? Mm-hmm. Their defense was a brick wall, and you just weren't going to beat them on the outside. And Peerless Price burned 2 defenders with that, caught the ball, and T. Martin put it in a perfect spot. And I know it's a basic just bomb for a touchdown, but it stands out to me the most.
Well, and Caleb, that season, I'm not sure at that moment that Peerless Price didn't have more big catches than any Tennessee receiver in a long, long time. And I'm not going to say he's the best receiver they ever had, but he caught a lot of long balls. He caught a lot of passes that helped win games or turn games around. I thought the T. Martin to Peerless Price connection was terrific that year. I'll go one more in that Florida State game, the national championship game. Dwayne Goodrich's pick 6. I thought that was a huge play for Tennessee in that game as well.
I actually thought that, Caleb, was a bigger play than the Peerless catch.